Welcome. I'm going to get on early today just because I'm really excited over this last weekend. Um, I got so many downloads, so many different things. I guess you would call it revelations or different insights or different intuitions of what is going on in our world. And I just want to take some time today. I know it's early. Uh, I just want like who is Jason? Why would you even get on here and listen to this Jason guy? Because honestly, if I was in your shoes, that's what I would be asking. We are in a world of illusions right now, and in a way, if you understand that, you can view it in it's kind of fun, because I believe this is some sort of a simulation. I believe that our reality is a bit twisted. I believe that we are living in a time where, uh, you know, Satan has been unleashed, and that's what I want to go over today. I don't know how many people are going to watch. I'm hoping that this is going to be one of those videos that I can use later on to give people an idea of, what does Jason believe? What is going on in that head? Oh, how does it all tie together? Because it's kind of like a puzzle piece, and you put this piece over here, you don't know how it's going to fit later on, and then you put this piece in, and next thing you know, you start to see the picture, and it gets really exciting, and that's where we're at right now. So I don't know why why. Here are some reasons why I wouldn't listen to me. I'm a high school dropout. I never finished high school. I got my GED, so I was able to do that. I was an alcoholic. Um, I'm on my third marriage. I've gone through bankruptcy. I've gone through trauma. I've been in trouble with the law. I've had problems where when I was 18, I had to go to Teen Challenge and live in a drug rehab at 18 for a whole year. So here's a list of reasons why I wouldn't listen to Jason. You know, uh, I've had problems with anger in the past. Like I said, I'm on my third marriage. I've done everything in this world wrong, and it's been documented, well documented. And so, though, that's the reasons why I wouldn't listen to Jason. So, what happened this year? I would say that I've been going through awakenings my whole life, and I've come to understand that most of the reasons I've done why I've done is because I recognized at a very young age that I'm not from this planet. This isn't my homeland. I recognized at a young age that I wasn't like my mom or my dad. I was not like my brothers at all. I recognized that I wasn't like anyone that I knew. I wasn't like the people we went to church with. I wasn't like the kids I went to school with. I was very colorful, vibrant. um, you would say feminine, but I had zero desire for my own gender. Like I liked colors like pink and purple, and those were my vibrant colors, and that was how I, grew up into this world, and I just knew I was different. And it's always caused me a lot of my family. They liked a lot of different things, and so I find that a lot of people who are alcoholics or drug addicts, what happened is they have a calling on their life, a literally a vibration, a special vibration, I would say. And they have to, this earth has a core vibration, so they have to tune that into that vibration. Their vibration is higher. My vibration was higher, not better. It was at a different vibration. I was sent to this world to vibrate different. I knew that at a young age. I couldn't explain that then. I couldn't give that as the the example or the reason, but that's exactly what was happening. I knew at a very young age that I was called to do something uh, with this, and so I didn't know what it was, so I drank. And what drinking does is it takes the static down. And I remember when I was going through my last divorce, I got to the point where I turned off the TV, everything. The kids were gone. It was the first time in a long time I just had quiet, and I heard a static, like and I thought there was a lot of frequencies in my house. And I remember just turning the TV back on. I'm like, I don't like that. And that was 4 or 5 years ago. That was like 5 years ago. And so now I've come to recognize that that vibration, that signal's always been there. I didn't know it, and I didn't understand what to do with it. And now I do. Now I do. I understand that's part of the vibration of our earth. That's the vibration inside of me, and then it's the earth is waking up. And that's why I want to talk. I want to come on here because like my whole life I've been a Christian. I've believed in what I've read in the Bible. I've believed what the preachers have said, and I've always believed that Christ is coming back. And I've had this viewpoint, but I want to challenge some people today that maybe Christ has already come back. And maybe we're living in a time of complete craziness and illusions and the thing everything that you know is probably is the best example. Our eyes, when we see things, is actually upside down. You see, when the light hits our eyes, we're taught this in schools that it hits our retinas and it flips the image upside down, and then we can see. That's how this world is. Literally everything that you think you see is actually upside down. Now, if you look around, you're like, really? Everything's upside down? How is that even possible? How is everything possible? Because when I see it, it looks right side up. It doesn't matter. It's still flipped around. That's how this world is. Everything you think you see, you actually probably don't see the way you think you see it. So here's what a couple weeks ago I was researching. I don't know how I got on this. Now, this might, if you grew up in a Christian church, this might flip you out. I'm not trying to. This is just my opinion. I'm not even saying I completely believe in this, but here's what I heard. And I'm starting to see there's a lot of reasons why I think this might be true. When in the Bible, John 14:19, Jesus says to his disciples, "Soon the world will no longer see me, but you will see me." That's crazy. So Jesus is telling his disciples, "The world doesn't see me. You're going to see me." He literally tells his disciples, "Since I live with you, you will also love." So he's literally telling his disciples that he's coming back on when they're alive. Why would he say it? So if we go by what the Bible actually says, he's telling his disciples, "I'm coming back on your watch." Well, what happens? He goes up into the sky, and then he's gone. And we're here in 2026. We're sitting here waiting. The disciples never seen him, so he must have lied to them. We're sitting here waiting for him, and we're waiting. We know that they're in the Bible in Revelation. It says that there's going to be a rapture, and there's going to be a 1,000-year reign of Christ, and then there's going to be a little season where there's going to be a season of illusions. Everything's going to be illusions, illusions, illusions. And then after that little season of illusions, there's going to be an army. People are going to wake up and they're going to defeat this dragon. And why would we think that maybe that hasn't happened? Now, here's what I have read and I am starting to believe could be possibly true is in 70 AD when Jesus said, that they're actually the temple is going to be destroyed. And if you look in 70 AD, you can see these pictures of like these angels and these big huge storms of like these heavenly angels, these beings coming down and destroying the Roman temple because they were enslaving all these Christians, because they were martyring these Christians. That would have been the same time that some of these disciples would have still been alive. Now you think about this. So here's 70 AD. What happened after 70 AD? From 70 AD to like 1300, that's what they call the Dark Ages. Nothing happened. We don't even know. They burned all the books. They burned all the tech. Nothing. Everyone's just gone. Everyone's gone for 1,000 years. Everyone's just gone. Dark Ages. Pop up about 1300 or a little after 1,000 AD, and then now we're at 20,000. There's what I believe is they told us a lie. They took 1,000 years out of our timeline. I believe right now we're actually in the little season of the seeing. That's what I believe. I believe that we are in even Imagine, I believe that I think that what we're seeing on the media, if you look on the media, do you even know what's going on anymore? Can you even believe when you go on the media, who do you even follow anymore? You know what I mean? Like, can't we even see that it's this side against that side, and they choose a narrative, they throw it at us, and then we go, it reminds me of my farm animals. Like, we have these ducks and these different animals, and when you're growing up, these little animals are in their little flocks. And when I go down to the coop, they all go into these little flocks, all into these little flocks. It's the same thing that we do as humans. They have us whenever they see that we're actually starting to unite, they turn the media knob up, and then we just jump back into our little, oh, I'm this color, or I'm this religion, or I'm this, this is my belief. And we think that we're connecting, and as soon as we get together, oh, we got to put some narrative out there. Let's do this narrative. Like, there's a gazillion bad things that they could be watching, but when they want to dial up they want to get us freaked out, they just dial up that knob, and then we just jump in it. We are living in illusions. Do we even know who the president is? If you go online, do you even know if you're watching? They say you can't even put your kids online anymore because you can actually AI can take those kids and can make them look like they're somebody else and can do crazy things. And like, we can't even trust the internet. Why are we thinking that we might not be living in this age of illusion? That Satan, and if you look at the Statue of Liberty, just look at the Statue of Liberty. It looks like Lucifer. It looks like Lucifer. You go look at the pictures of Lucifer, go online, and just see the statues of Lucifer and look at the Statue of Liberty, and it's literally the same thing. But here's the crazy thing. If you look at the chains on the bottom, there's a cut. The chains are cut, means he's been freed. And then the Bible says that after there's going to be 1,000-year reigns. And if you look at all these huge buildings that are around the world, look at them. These huge cathedrals, in these huge towers, and these unexplainable, you know, buildings that are, even around where I live in West Michigan. You can go around to these old factories and these buildings, and it's like, dude, they're not built like that anymore. And you're telling me that you go online and you see how they actually put these things together? They're saying they did this in, like, a year, 2 years. There's these massive stones, pillars, and all that, with horses and buggies and chisels and hammers, because the people were just that much better at construction. We could never do anything like that anymore. And they're all over. I believe that Satan he was launched. He was free. I believe that we live in a mass illusion time right now, and I believe that time is coming up and is probably done. I think it came to an end, and this is why. Have you looked on the news? How crazy things are right now? How there's so many different media things that you go, if you look what's going on in Greenland, look what's going on in Venezuela. We took the president. Look what's going on in Iran. Look what's going on right here in Minnesota. With there, all that stuff. Look what's going. If you just go around, look what's going on in Israel. Look what's going on all over the world. And then on top of that, there's floods and there's hurricanes and there's volcanoes, and we live in a crazy time, and we don't really know what to believe. So I believe that that time was 1776. Why 1776? The year of independence, right? 1776, a pretty good, awesome year, right? Well, what if I told you that 1776 is the same year as the Illuminati was created? And the Illuminati is, people know that it is literally a demon, worshiping place. So 1776, if you look on the map, do you know that our independence, the United States independence, wasn't the only place they got independent? You should go around and see how many wars that was actually happening from, England and over there in Europe. Man, it's just like there was just a crazy unleashing of wars. Well, when the Illuminati, birth, they had the money and they started funding wars all over. What if they took, when they say, what if they took 1,000 years of our timeline out? If you look at the coins, it says 1600, this is the one that really got me. If you look at the coins, they say 1600, 50 or whatever on these old coins. Well, it actually says I 650. And I is that actually they didn't have the letter J in the alphabet back then. They didn't have the letter J, so they only had I. So when you said Jesus, it was Isua. So they put I, the year of I, 650 on the coin. And then we look at it like, oh, it's 1650. They took 1,000, I believe they took 1,000 years out of our timeline and lied to us. Why would they not? Do you know that we're actually supposed to be living on a 28-day, calendar cycle? We have a full moon. The natives did it forever. In fact, this is how they were. If you look at a turtle, the turtles were able to have it right on their shells. It was actually made. If you look at like a turtle shell, it was actually made for the calendar because we live in a 13-month calendar where we're supposed to there's 13 new moons, there's 13 full moons, and there's 28 days, and they took that, they flipped that around. They gave us a whole new calendar. Then they went into our Bible. Oh, let's take this verse out. And who gave these guys the authority to go into, the book of God and just take whatever they wanted out and give us what they thought was right? And we think that this isn't the time of Satan. Man, if there's ever been a time of illusions, it's right now. You can't go down, you can't even turn on the TV without wondering what the heck's being thrown at you. The problem is if you take like a lobster and you throw, or a frog, and you throw it in a boiling water, that frog's gonna jump all out. Right? But if you take a frog and you put it in water and you just turn up the water slowly and heat it and heat it and heat it, pretty soon that frog will let you boil it and it won't even try to jump out. Well, don't you think that maybe that's how they've done it to us? This isn't like all of a sudden we have all these illusions. This is a conditioning over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years to condition us and to loose us into a time that we're finally living in right now, where we're living in illusions. We're living in a land of illusions. So what do we do with these illusions? Well, first off, open up our awareness to the possibility that maybe our timeline was really effed up. What if they took 1,000 years out of our timeline? What if? I mean, do you really believe that all history is completely accurate? The people that wrote our history were taking people that, even if they did what they said they did, which is they probably, if you're writing your own history and you put it out there, you're probably going to make that history look in favor to yourself, right? So if you look at the history that they give us, even their own history says, yeah, we went over to land, we took people, we brought them over here, we beat them, we ate them, we killed them, we sold them, we took their kids, we sold them to, like they were animals. We didn't let our own women vote. If they kind of fought with us, we threw them into these mental institutes. Yeah, we just that's the history that they give us. That's the beefed up history. That's the nice history. We have no idea. Just think, if in 70 AD, that's when Christ's reign started for 1,000 years, and then he was if the Statue of Liberty is Lucifer, just look at him and look at the chain that's broken, and that season's coming to an end now, 250 years. I believe, this is what I believe, and you can take it for what I'm just this high school dropout dude. I'm just this guy that a year ago was an alcoholic, but here's what happened a year ago. Something nailed me, and it came from the sky. There was some solar flares. I didn't know what it was. There were some solar flares. It nailed me. It hit me. I had no idea what any of this stuff was. I stopped drinking, and all of a sudden, these flashes started hitting me, just like the prophecies say that were going to happen, the Hopi prophecies. Just like a flash, even in Revelations, a flash of light hit me, dude. Bam! And it was like I knew that this world is a lie. That's going to start happening all over. It's happening all over. People are waking up. They're waking up all over the world. And part of the prophecies is there's going to be this web at the end time, right before the new earth. There's going to be this web that's going to be a spider web that's going to go over the earth. You know what that spider web is? That's the internet. I could be talking to somebody right now. I couldn't do this. I couldn't be on my phone doing this in my own hometown because no one would know me. I could do this on here, and so can you. We all can do this, and we're putting this web around this world of truth. It's amazing. And we can start to explain to people what's really going on. They lied about our timeline. They took the Satan has been, in my opinion, this is for entertainment purposes only. I think that's what you're supposed to say. In my opinion, Satan has been launched 250 years ago. 1776. We worship that day. Do you look at the dollar bill? Why is there a pyramid on there? Why is there a pyramid on our dollar bill? Do you even care? Do we care? No, again, you put a frog in boiling water, it's going to jump out. But you put a frog in just a little hot water and you turn it up, eventually you can boil that frog. We've been conditioned. Humans are probably pretty easy at being conditioned. It's amazing how, probably because we don't use much of our brains and they don't want us to. They give us foods and technology. They're trying to keep us dumbed down, but we're busting out of that. We're breaking free from that. We're getting to the past that other side. And we're waking up to the fact that maybe in 1776, these people did something really, really bad. They did something really bad. I don't know exactly what it is. Some people say it's the Tartaria, that there was a Tartaria. I think that there was 1,000 years where there was peace, that there was free energy, that there was harmony, that people literally, we didn't need doctors and we didn't need hospitals. Do you know if you go in the Cherokee or in the native land, do you know they didn't have hospitals? They didn't have doctors. They didn't have jails. Do you know that the men in their 40s, in their 50s could run 40 miles in a day? They were built, they didn't eat, like they didn't need to have the three kind of meals. We've been lied to about every little thing. Everything has just been a big, huge lie. We see upside down, even our own visions lying to us. And when you see that everything's a lie, then you can start to, why? If you look even in the book of Revelations, it says, all over it says, may your eyes be open. May the eyes of your understanding be open. We can't see with our natural eyes. It's upside down. Everything. Our little eyesight is upside down. Everything we see is upside down. That's why in the Bible they'll say what is good is bad. They call what is bad is good. All that it's happening right now, and and this has been talked by Nostradamus. It's been talked about almost every big religions. Hinduism's been talking about this time. The natives have been talking about this time. And if you're waiting for some big, Jesus to come out and these trumpets and these angels and these wings, man, it's already freaking happened. It's already happened. Satan's been defeated. This Satan, and I think Satan isn't just a being, one being. If you go in the Bible, and I talk about the Bible because that was how I was raised in the Bible, so I have a lot of reference in that. But my mentor is actually native. My beliefs is more my ancestors. It's native. I'm learning the ways of the land. But even if you look in the Bible, there's so much references of what happens in this new with Lucifer. If you go to the book of Enoch, these demons were Satan. The name Satan wasn't even talked about. This is a spirit. This is an entity. This is an energy. I would call it an energy. It's a negative, evil energy that has had its way, and it's created into our matrix. It's been created to our world because we have to learn how to deal with these emotions that are inside of us. This is a simulation, guys. I'm telling you, this is a simulation. Our world is a simulation. It's to teach you how to deal with these emotions, how to capture his emotions. My daughter just had a baby this last weekend in Hawaii. Amazing. I got to see my baby. I can't physically be there. I have too many kids here in Michigan. I can't just fly over to Hawaii, but I have my little Cyrus and I can see him, and I'm talking to my daughter and she's just so emotional. And I told her, like, that's what it's all about. Hold on to these emotions, because what this simulation is teaching our spark, our life, who we are, the true you, the soul inside you, is how to deal with emotions and how to deal with limitations. Because this world is full of limitations. Once we learn how to deal with emotions and limitations, we are free to run on this earth and rule this earth with peace and harmony, with goodness, and the vibration is already rising, guys. It's already starting to happen. This is why I was able to get off alcohol last year completely. Bam. I don't even think about it anymore. I was able to lose 65 pounds. It was like, and you guys know, like when you lose weight, a lot of times you lose weight and you gain it back up. I can't gain it. I eat ice cream at night. I eat cheese pizza. I am not just a fruitarian because I eat a lot of fruit, though. A lot of fruit. I eat a lot of fruit all day long, a lot of different kinds. Why? Because it's the way of my old people. It's the way of my ancestors. My ancestors took from the land and they became one with the land. They literally ate from the land because their bodies from the land. We are living in a new world. Satan's been defeated. It's over. He had 250 years. And this is the best way I can describe that is if have you ever thought like why do all the bad people get away with freaking everything? Have you ever wondered that? Why do the bad people get away with everything? Well, that's because the world has been tipped towards the evil one, to negative energy. The whole matrix, the vibration of the earth hertz, the earth vibration was set at a tone where it would almost reward people for doing bad. And so that vibration's been going on for I don't know 250 years. That vibration started people literally doing bad things, and what happened is I believe in January 11th, 111, it got here, and we an even playing field, and now it's tipping. So what does that mean? If you have a good heart, if you've been doing the work, if you've been in your life, you like, man, I've given, I've tried, I love people, I've been abused, I've been hurt, and you just like, why does all the good things happen to all the bad people? They get money, they get cars, they get to. It seems like they succeed in Hollywood. It seems like they're just so successful, but the problem is that we're at a new frequency. There's a group of people out there. Maybe you're on here and you're hearing ringing in your ears. You're feeling you're feeling pressure around you. You're feeling you're feeling aches and pains maybe. You're getting intuition. Something's happening in your heart. Maybe you're having heart flutters. Maybe you're having that is your body adjusting to the new frequencies. There's a group of people out there that have a frequency and it's pretty freaking high. And that frequency is bypassing all the other frequencies right now. This group of people, some call them the chosen ones, some call them star seeds, the chosen elect. This is what the Bible calls them. They carry a frequency, a little frequency. They can hear it. It's not a ringing in the ears. It's something else. It's a vibration that's actually happening inside of them, and you feel like you're like kind of an antenna tower. What's happening is the Earth is waking up. She woke up. That's what happened. I'm telling you guys, Earth is alive. She has a heartbeat. The oil that they're digging is her blood. They've lied to us. We have free technology. We have free energy. It's out there. We can get it. We can have it. But the powers that be, they know they could channel that all up and they could sell you a battery. They can make a lot more money doing that. So there's been some kind of big, great deception over the last 250 years. And we're waking up to it. And this year, 2026, there's going to be things that are going to happen. You watch. It's already starting to happen. You're going to start seeing some truths, and it's going to start ripping that Band-Aid off, and people's eyes are going to become open. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Their eyes of their understanding are going to be open because there's going to be too much truth. And that is going to be the greatest day because people's awareness is going to start to come off the roof and they won't be able to control us because we're going to stop being controlled by their frequencies. The frequencies that tell us to eat fast food 3 times a day, the frequencies that tell us to go out there and to drink constantly, the frequencies that tell us to eat a bunch of processed food that is horrible for us and hate our brothers and sisters and be racist and all that frequency change. It's changing. The earth woke up. So right now she's going through an ascension herself, and she's hearing just like when my body woke up, when I started eating right. I didn't wake up right away. I kind of woke up a little bit, but I had to put a whole bunch of good in me. And as my cells started to do their things inside of me, then I was able to become more of me and wake up and become into my body. The same thing has happened to the earth. These people, 144,000, they're out there and they're vibrating. They've been taking the punches. They've been, and they didn't even know it. Many don't even know it. But the Earth's frequency, she's hearing that and she's rising to that, and that's causing. If you've noticed it, look at the world. Now you can look at all the crazy stuff in the world right now, what's going on, and you can look in your personal life. You're probably like, oh man, I know like 8 or 9 like crazy people right now are doing crazy stuff, right? Like there's that frequency now because it's tipped towards the good. It's called natural law. There's going to be a purge, and the Earth is going to go through a lot this year. And we vibrate with gratitude. We vibrate with freedom. We vibrate by, you know, uh, speaking truth, knowing truth, understanding truth. And I'm just going to get into a few things that you can do. Like here's a few things that you can do to help you get through this, what I call ascension. One, get a coach. Get a coach. Even I have a coach, Gerald Auger. He was in Hollywood, and he was successful, and he got to the point where he was starting to go down the wrong path, and his elders and his ancestors told him, hey, I want you to go live in the wilderness for 6 years. 6 years he went into the wilderness for 6 years, and he obviously it changed him, and he came and he's come back. He has his own studios now. He does all kinds of really cool movies and cool things. And I've over the time over this last year, I've it's taken me a while, but I found somebody. I slowly started building a relationship, and I've asked him to be my mentor, and he's like, yeah. And I'm telling, maybe it takes you a while, but man, you need to find somebody that has some fruit on this tree. There are some people out there that know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on with all this, you're just going to be bad. And if you be careful, don't go by the person on these internet sites that try to get you to spend $1 gazillion, and they're going to give you some kind of 12 steps to get through it. Everybody is different. Everybody vibrates different. My background with Gerald is completely different. He grew up in the simulation schools, in his hometown, in the simulation schools in Canada. He grew up on reservations. Like he's growing up like completely different from me, who grew up in Kalkaska, Michigan. You know what I mean? But I remember things, and he knows it, and he can help bring those words in that language into my life, right? Well, you need to find somebody that can help you bring language. There's so much changing in this world right now, and it's ours to take. It's ours to take. We need to take this internet by storm. We need to get out there with this big, huge spider web and let people know. It's not to the professionals. It's not to the people that know everything. It's not to the people that have all the credentials. It's not to the people that put all the checks in the boxes. It's the people that are real, that know, that wake up in the morning and they're like, I hear the vibrations. That's the ones that we're looking for. So go out there, man, and seek your truth and be the change.